We love hopping, don't we, folks? We love to hop. More and more people are saying that we're doing the best hopping that maybe anyone has ever seen. A tremendous amount of hopping. Anyway, hello, yes, welcome to Tomb Raider Anniversary. We are rolling a ball in a way that I don't think you could roll a ball of this weight and thickness. Yeah, I walked right past this at the end of the last video. I didn't know if you had to do anything with it. I honestly thought it was like a setup for a later thing, like you would go down here and then the ball would come and there'd be a little section where you have to dodge the ball. But that is not the case. And I was watching, I did a little preview of this section of the level in the long play that I've been using as a guide. And this is a great hallway for those swan dives, by the way. It's really nice. I don't know if you can get hurt by this thing. I feel like if you position yourself in front of a wall, like that it smashes into, it's a nice sound, then I feel like it would kill you. It seems like the kind of game that would do that. And that's the kind of fucking swan dive we like to see. That's what I am talking about. Just a good, I don't need to explain it. You saw it. It was fucking cool. That's what we like to see, folks. So yeah, we have another water draining and filling up section that I don't understand. Like I said, I was looking at a guide, and it began with them pushing the ball down into the water, but I watched this whole section of the level in the long play, and they didn't do anything with the ball. It's just it's right there. It's just in the water now. So I don't know what the point of it is. If it's just for funsies, I mean, if so, that's fine with me. I'm sure there's some like hidden bullshit or whatever that you can do or find by whatever. I don't care. It's I'm content with it just being a fun little ball that the game gives you. Just, hey, here's, you've been doing a lot of tomb raiding. Why don't you take a little break and just roll a big ball around? This jump is a little finicky because you have to jump backward off of the ladder, but holding S just makes you climb down the ladder. So you have to like jump first, but also hold S. If you're using a keyboard, of course. So yeah, this part's a little bit confusing. There's a lot of stuff here that, like, I don't know what you do with it. Every switch, even those golden ones, every switch in here, as far as I can tell, either the golden ones open up the gates, and the switches do the water, I think. And I am literally performing for you, except for the fact that I, like, sucked and had to redo parts, so there's editing and shit. I'm just doing precisely what I saw the person do in the long play, at least from what I could tell. And like I said, I watched, the whole thing, and this is what they did. They did that, they opened that thing, and then they did that. And now I'm thinking, you know what? That might be a thing that I do later. I didn't even really put two and two together that was that place. If it is that place. I'm being very vague, but you'll know what I'm talking about a little bit. Anyway, there's still stuff like the stuff that's over to my right now. As far as I'm aware, you do not need to interact with it at all to get to the end of this, to the top of this level. The only thing you really gotta fuck with is these little bug insignias, which I'm avoiding at the moment. I gave you a couple of glimpses of me doing this trek, which you have to do about 58 times because it's the only way to go up. But there will be edits later on. And I can already tell that, well, no, actually, because we have a big smattering of cutscenes at the end of this video, spoiler. I was about to say, I can already imagine that all of my choices for thumbnails. Like, I'll have very limited options for, like, good images for thumbnails for this, video, but I won't, actually, because of the cutscenes. But whenever there's not cutscenes or not any sort of, like, very visually striking, piece of scenery or something that I can make into the thumbnail, because, you know, with YouTube thumbnails, especially because I feel like, you know, a lot of people watch on mobile and stuff, it's got to be something that looks good when it's in a tiny picture, so there have to be, like, pretty discernible things. And the other thing is that this game is just naturally pretty dark. I actually have the brightness up a little bit higher than it recommends you do in the game. But it's just a very dark game in general. And a very, like, gray and brown game. It's hard not to make... Like, there will be stuff like these big statues or the Sphinx in that one. It might have been the last part. The big Sphinx head. Where it'll... Like, I feel like this game is much more visually rich and stimulating when you're playing it than may be apparent in a thumbnail or even the YouTube video. I don't know what it is about the transposition from the fucking playing the game to the YouTube video. I mean, I know that there's obviously some form of, like, quality loss, I suppose, but, like, if I watch it in full screen, my video of it in full screen, it just doesn't look the same as when it's full screen and I'm playing it. And it's weird, the difference that there is, that makes. But a lot of the scenery is just very sort of similar underground and rocky formations for obvious reasons. And yeah, this is kind of annoying because you can very easily fall off the edge, but you can't actually move it on this side. Moving things around in this game has always been one of the jankiest parts of the game that I don't enjoy very much. Again, as always, caveat, maybe it feels better with a controller than with keyboard controls, but I honestly kind of doubt it, because it's not really the, like, control over direction so much as just, like, the responsiveness itself, I guess? I don't know. Maybe not responsiveness is the word I'm looking for. I don't know shit, don't listen to me. But yeah, I feel like this game looks a lot better when you're playing it, but in a thumbnail, it just looks like big, gray, brownish background shit buttholes, and, you know, it doesn't look that good, and it sucks. But whatever. Oh, also, before I forget, I was talking about replacement song lyrics, and somebody commented with a pretty good one, so shout out to you for that. I don't remember what it is, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm sorry, but this is the comment on the last one, so there you go. But two that I found out that are actually... one is one that I made up, and it's another one of a song that I heard a lot because Liv was listening to it a lot at one point, but it is also just a song that I now just like myself, which is BS by Janae Aiko, and the main part where she says, back up on my bullshit, back up on the scene, I like to say, back up on my bullshit, back up on my beans. I don't know what that means, but... I really like the word beans. I like the concept of beans. A phrase that Liv and I have been using is saying off the bean, which I would say when she's been caffeinated by coffee. Anyway, here's a secret thing. I guess that's what that fucking gate was for. Yeah, it's Horus. Pretty cool. I like how I've collected like 2 of those in completely random spots, and it's literally just because they're the ones that are like pretty easy to find, and also this one was in the fucking long play that I was watching. But yeah, back up on my beans. You know, you're back to eating some beans, I suppose. But yeah, off the bean means you're caffeinated with coffee. Originally it was just for coffee, but now it's also for iced tea for some reason. The other one is one that I actually didn't make up. It's one that my work friend told me, which is the Rihanna song "Sex with Me," and it's "Sex with Me is so amazing," and then she says, "Stay up off my Instagram, pure temptation, because you want to jack off and you want to fuck her, because it's Rihanna. Her friends said, "Stay up off my Instagram if you're a raisin," which is pretty funny and sounds even funny. If you know the song or listen to the song and say that lyric to the tune of your song, and you'll see why it's funny. All of these are funnier if you say them to the tune of the music, but again, I don't have the music playing, and I don't trust myself to not sound like a piece of shit, and I just got my fucking ass kicked, man. I was not ready for this fight at all. They really just throw like 48 demons at you. It is crazy how a lot of these enemies like start out as mini-bosses and then just become enemies. And yeah, I kept, like, different ones kept doing the little, like, power roar where then they do the thing where they charge at you and you can do the adrenaline thing, the adrenaline shot. But I kept not knowing which one it was, and it was never the one that I was actually aiming at, and so when it would do it, I, like, didn't know where to be pointing or going, and so I would just fuck it up immediately, because I'm, fucking rapidly clicking, trying to shoot the other things that are murdering me, at these giant horsemen that are smashing my skull in. And I would just fuck it up and then I would get hit. But it's okay when you have 45 medipacks and you can just keep eating them. Yeah, so now we have this big room, which I think is really nice looking. I really like these pillars. There isn't a whole lot of popping color in this game. I guess you don't get a whole lot of that when most of your settings are like, old, decrepit, ancient tombs and stuff. I guess it kind of comes with the territory. It's a little bit like GTA 4, how a common complaint, including from me, is that game looks too, like, dull and gray. But it takes place in a fictional version of New York, which is on the whole, fairly dull and gray. I mean, I wonder what it would be like if you were to make one of those, what do you call those? Those things that they do for movies where they put all of the frames together into like a strip, a color strip, I think is what it's called, but it's like the color palette of the average color palette of the movie, and you get it by doing all the color. I wonder if you did that for every surface in New York, what it would be, or like that color that is supposed by whatever, colorologists or whatever to be, or maybe it's astronomers actually that fucking came out, I don't know. But they believe it's like the average color of the universe, and it's just like this shitty beige. I think it's called Cosmic Latte. So that's funny. And that picture of the universe, it's all of the galaxy clusters and everything, and it looks like a fucking like a floor tile at a Wawa. And, yeah, so we're hopping. We have I think the Skions, right? That's what we have that we're gonna put into these little holes in a minute. This is me just figuring things out. Don't worry, I'll get it eventually. So this is a random thing while I'm doing this, because this isn't super interesting. I don't really know what my next main LP should be. I have a couple ideas in mind, but they're kind of contingent on a few things, mainly just me getting a PS2 emulator running. I mean, I don't need it for the one of them that I'm thinking of, because I have it on PC, but I've been playing it, and it has a really weird sound glitch that I do not know how to rectify. And looking on forums and Googling has not turned up anything very useful. But I know that it's on PS2, and if I could just get the ROM, I feel like that would probably work better. I've heard that it works fine, the ROM, so maybe I'll do that. But I'm getting to the point where I've done almost every game that, like, I've played and want to do and can easily record on a computer. Again, until I set up the PS2 emulator, which, like, I can very much do, I would imagine, but it's just, I know that it's a little more complicated than most other emulator setup things, and I'm sure my viewers are aware at this point that the computer things in my life have a penchant to not work for me for inexplicable reasons. So, you know, there's always that possibility. I can never be too confident in my ability to do anything. And then the other thing I would need to get is a capture card, because there are Wii games, and yes, I know that you can emulate the Wii, but there are some games where it's way easier to play it on a TV with a Wiimote the way they wanted you to, instead of doing a bunch of fucking ridiculous, demented button combinations. I tried to play Mario Galaxy on Dolphin with a fucking Xbox controller, and I wanted to kill myself. It's basically impossible to get any star bits or point at anything at the screen, which is pretty important in that game. So I have to start playing some new games so I can get a feel for something, or just stop being a bitch and play something blind and just get ready to edit a bunch or look like an idiot, which it's so weird that that's even a thing that I worry about. Like, I don't look like an idiot in the LPs of games I have played already. But it can be hard, you know, as an adult with a job, to get into new games, especially if they're, like, challenging or not straightforward, especially because I have baby brain. Or if they, you know, kind of take a minute to get going or whatever, or to get good at. So, yeah, I don't know. And I was meaning to do some Let's Tries last week and most of this week. I have the gameplay of one recorded now, so I guess I just got to do the audio, and hopefully I can do that this weekend. But I ran into problems with the two games I was going to do, which I tried to do the Let's Tries of them on stream, for those who didn't see, last week, and they were the Shrek video game, the first Shrek video game, and the Barnyard video game, and the ROMs for both of those got all fucked. And I don't know if I already described the problem I had with the Simpsons Hit and Run ROM. That's another one where I would probably either just get it on a PS2 emulator, or I own it on PS2, so if I get a capture card, I could do that. Also, give me some recommendations for capture cards. Preferably ones that can do AV and HDMI, but I understand that that's kind of rare, and also that I can just do like an AV to HDMI adapter. Yeah, I might have to do that, because the only fucking consoles that I own are PS2, Wii, and Switch. Just like decades in between them. Anyway, there are some events going on at the moment. I'm going to stop talking so that you can see some plot things.
You rule over nothing. Atlantis is in ruin. Nothing can change that. Everything must burn. Only then can the Seventh Age begin.
It's a path to madness. I wash my hands of you for your treachery. For using the knowledge of the Scion to unleash our armies against us. I expel you forever from the secret order of the Three. And condemn.
I like how Lara's just standing in the middle of all this. Just, what's going on, guys?
It cannot be stopped. The wheels of Cathar are already in motion. Doom will find you both. And I rise from the dust of your bones to finish what I've started.
It was you. You were the Queen of Atlantis.
Once.
And the Scion holds its history.
It holds far more than that. All the knowledge of the ancients. Things none of you could even comprehend.
What is the Seventh Age?
How far are you willing to go to find out, Lara? Not far enough, I'm afraid. Kill her quickly. We have work to do.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Enjoy watching. I'm cutting.
Shabams! Whammo! Shabams!